Wait, did you hit record on?
Oh, Three Stooges.
Making sure you hit record.
You
on
gotta
the main
guess.
one.
You gotta guess which one you are. I guess I'm Mo.
There's a Larry, Curly, and Mo, right? He's Curly because he's got curly hair. I'll be Mo.
Or you could be. What was the other one? Shrimp.
There was Larry, Curly, and Mo, right?
Yeah, but
Three.
there was the fourth one that would the dude with the little hairpiece that would flap around. What was his name? Shrimp.
Show up randomly.
I don't remember. Yeah, he wasn't like part of the crew all the time though, right?
No, they would offset. Like either Larry wouldn't be there or whatever. Larry was the one with the curly hair, right? Like Krusty.
That wasn't Curly.
Oh, that was Curly.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
then the little fat guy, right?
you know they invented Google for this, right?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Fuck
just,
Google.
Just say.
I don't want him. I don't want him to know what I'm up to.
They know everything you're
I
doing.
know,
You
you're
got
right.
an
Or
iPhone.
right.
Lugal.
What the
You ever
Lugal.
watch Hot
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah.
Where he went back in
Fucking
time so that he
funny,
could
bro.
he created Lugal, and then when they went forward, he was the richest man on earth. Super creative.
Good movie.
Genius. All right, guys. Welcome to another episode on the podcast. Got my boy Squints, myself, Brian, and our guest from last time, Mr. Sean, a.k.a. Cadillac Sean.
Yes.
So what are we talking about today, fellas?
I think we're gonna go back into the last episode, and this time we're gonna speak a little bit more about generational trauma carrying down to children, passed down from our parents and our parents' parents, and then the triggers that we experience in our home that then creates a certain place for our children to have certain issues, anxiety issues, certain triggers, certain behavioral issues based upon, this vicious cycle of untreated mental
Health.
and regardless of how set or how well we think we're handling things, we definitely all, could at least be aware and approaching it differently.
Yeah, I think we're all lack of tools. That's what it comes down to, is just tools. I mean, we're not taught those tools in school, and if our parents didn't know these things, then it just continues.
But you were saying earlier how you've noticed like certain things in your kids.
Yeah, I can tell that my daughter has anxiety at times when she overeats, and she's not a big girl, but she likes to eat, and when her stomach hurts, she freaks out, right? And she panics, and I was the same way as a kid, and my son's similar to that as well. And that's kind of one of my fears, is them kind of being like me when they get older.
So how do you...
Do you feel like they're in the same cycle you were in
No,
for different reasons?
no, because they have me and their mom. I was alone, so it's like,
But obviously that's
if I had a panic attack at 10 years old, there was no one there to calm me down. At least with them, we're there to sit with them, talk to them.
But how do you work through something like that? I haven't
As far
experienced
as
that.
as being a parent or
Yeah.
an individual.
As a parent, because you're the ones molding
I mean,
them.
look, dude, it can be frustrating because you can tell your kid to relax and calm down, and they just don't listen to you, because that's a full-blown panic attack. I mean, if you haven't experienced one, it's hard you can't relate. Like when you experience it, you kind of understand. Like when you're in panic mode, you don't hear anything. Your heart's pounding or your stomach hurts, and everyone has different type of panic attacks. But my kids, sometimes they just don't listen. So you have to have a lot of patience, and it's hard. I mean, it is hard because you can't help your kid when they're going through that. You can't stop it for them. They have to just go through it, and you just have to be there to just let them know it's going to be okay and it'll pass. And it's gotten better now, you know what I mean? My daughter's gotten better. My son, very rarely he gets like that. But I think what causes panic attacks for everyone, and children especially right now, is school is everything to them, right? And so they're worried about failing. And so that's creating that pressure. And that
it's a really bad
is,
system.
Yeah, and that pressure is creating them to,
Just to clarify, like failing classes.
failing classes,
Well, it's the first competition.
True.
Yeah.
Well, my kids have all these, activities. Shia does all these things, but it creates a very competitive type of thing. And there shouldn't be you shouldn't be competing with your brother about who got more of something or who ate more or who got there faster.
Yeah.
We have this in American culture. We have this competitive thing. Like, You know, we worship sports. We worship competitive sports, right?
Yeah.
School is no different. It's the first pecking order, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's a star in their home. As soon as you put them into the mix of class, everybody starts taking rank, right?
And I think that hurts you. You know, like I think about kids. I didn't do well in school, and I didn't do well in school because I just didn't have the support. You know, and I think I had some learning disabilities because I think it's carried on to me being an adult in certain aspects, right? Chauncey's experienced these things with me because we do business together, right? It's probably frustrating for him, and the same thing for me. And you know, I'm working on these things because I can't continue to live my life having these setbacks within myself. But fuck, I just lost my train of thought. Shit, got too many thoughts in my head.
Old age.
Oh, back to school. Sorry. So there's kids in school that were like, you know, super smart, and then I see them now; they're not doing shit in life, dude. Because
well,
it's
everybody
like,
at their own
because
pace.
it's like, yeah, but it's also like they just thought they were better than everyone, because that kind of pushes you like, well, I'm better than you because I'm smarter than you, and that doesn't mean you're better than me. That just means you're good at that.
What are you better at? You're better at memorizing things and repeating them back?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what school is, right?
Yeah.
And book smart doesn't mean you're smart.
No.
Does that mean that you can figure out how to solve a problem
And so I
in a
think
different
that-
way? Or
and-
you can repeat the same thing that you've been told to repeat, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, there definitely needs to be a change in schooling, bro, because
Well, look, we're still working off of textbooks that are from the 1800s, basically, or when Rockefeller instated the public school
and I
system in
think
general, right?
I really feel like school needs to be, you know, more taught on skill-wise, right?
Well,
on
have you
skills.
seen that there's a dope ass cartoon of like, you know, if you judge a dolphin on his ability to climb a tree,
Yeah.
then you're probably an asshole, right?
Yeah.
And this is the thing with children is that not only is there multiple ways to learn and remember things, but people excel at other things, right?
Yeah.
So I believe that everybody has some sort of genius and a gift that they're supposed to be sharing with the world. But whether or not they're able to find that and how long that takes them. So to put them in a thing and issue a standardized test and let them develop all of these anxieties and issues based off of whether they're doing well or not is like, we're not doing them a justice, we're doing them an injustice. And in return, we're doing all of society an injustice because we're creating a bunch of issues
'cause
based off of,
I mean, when you fail, how do you feel? You feel like shit,
of course.
right? And that's
Slap
why I
down.
tell my kids, like, yo, like I remember my daughter Samantha, she hated math and she would cry all the time. And I was like, look, I don't give a fuck if you fail this test. All I care about is you giving it 100% and trying. I need you to study, and that's it. If you fail, you fail. But at least I know you tried. You know what I mean? That's how life works. You can give it 100%. It doesn't work out sometimes. But the amount of pressure that gets started in elementary school, it continues, and then life gets even harder.
You know,
right?
it makes
'Cause
them
it's responsibilities.
Yeah, because it makes them want to quit. And you know what
Yeah.
success is actually what success is actually driven by? Somebody that's willing to go back to work and try again over and over and over and over again, right? That's what actually
You have
builds
to fail to
success,
learn.
right?
You have to fail to learn. If you don't fail to learn, I mean,
You're
Falling
not
in
gonna-
love with the process
Yeah, bro.
and then continuing to fall and get back up and fall again. That's literally the definition of success, right?
That's
It's
exact-
continuing to move forward.
And that's exactly what it is to be successful.
It's to continue to fail and keep going.
Dude, I've taken some fat L's.
Yeah.
You learn from it, you fucking cry about it, and you pick
You move
yourself
on.
up
well, that's
and keep
what,
going.
you know,
But we're teaching these kids the opposite, right? We're teaching them that, oh, well, you're not good enough. Or
Or-
in your own head, you're not good enough. We tell you, pat you on your head, and then they develop these issues, and what happens? They don't want to try.
I'm seeing
because they're
my
scared to fail,
I'm
right?
seeing my son right now where he puts himself down, and
Yeah.
it's frustrating to me because I'm like, man, like I put myself down because I know why I put myself down. I just wasn't. I had no one to tell me, no, you're doing good. He has me and his mom. He's got everyone around him telling him he's doing good. He just doesn't believe it, and I get it. He's 11 years old, and I understand that.
It's a weird time,
But
but
it
doesn't matter.
sucks. It sucks for me because I'm like, bro, you don't have to feel like that. You know, like you're doing good. You're doing great. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. You know, and that it's hard. It's frustrating.
What also sucks that now they're just giving participation awards to kids. Like they're losing the meaning of certain things. Like just because you show up doesn't mean you did well.
I mean, I mean, the topic that we're on is like headed in the direction of like the participation award is better than 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that they found that competitiveness. I agree with you in a sense of we're not making strong people. We're making, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're making
We
a
don't wanna
weaker
go-
generation behind us. Which
we don't
is,
wanna go down that
Which is a
rabbit hole.
bad cycle, right? Which is, you know, strong men make easy times make weak men make hard times make, that's the cycle of life, right? But there's too much information and things out there, and it's just unaddressed. Like nobody wants to tackle that, a lot of these social issues, right? Everybody feels like school isn't doing these kids justice, but it's a really big undertaking with no positive, right? There's no, you can run on it as a politician, but if you actually try to, one, it won't happen fast enough for you to see the results.
Yeah.
So you're going to be the asshole regardless, right? So we have a lot of social systemic problems that people feel helpless to even address. They talk about addressing, but then things don't get made, right? But back to our children, because in the home, through generational, you know, things, we have the opportunity to instill different values in our children, right?
100%. And I think sports are huge. I think sports are huge in for children.
I think
Yeah, 'cause it
teamwork.
It teaches them how to be.
I think
a team
teamwork and
player.
understanding that, and as long as it's taught in the right fashion, is 100% a great thing, right?
Yeah, because you win and you lose with someone, and you know how that feels.
So what sport would you put, or have you put your children in?
I mean, Giancarlo was in boxing, but
Kind of a,
you know, he stopped boxing right now because he was the only kid in the gym, you know, and now he's playing flag football and he loves it.
Yeah.
So because he's with other kids that are motivating him to work harder.
Yeah.
You know, and it's pushing him. So it's great. You know, Sophia, we're still trying to figure out what she wants to do. She's very artistic, so I think, you know, put her in some art classes or, you know, figure out what she
Musicals.
wants to do, something, you know. I don't have a lot of kids, so it's a list. I don't need. We're figuring it out right now, but yeah, I definitely think that.
So do you feel like some of your anxiety and mental health issues are transferring in the home based off of your day-to-day feeling?
I don't think it's like I'm showing it to them. You know, maybe they see it sometimes when I was like really going through my stuff. I'd just go to my room, you know, and like just, you know, sleep or watch a movie or something, or I'd be on the couch and I'd kind of just tune everyone out. But other than that, I kind of feel like it's more genetics. You know, I think if they're genetically inherited some things from me.
Does diet play a role in that? I know that's a lot of talk in the mental health world these days.
For myself or just in general?
Well,
In
diet
general.
tends to carry over in the home, right? Because if you
Yeah.
eat a certain way, then your kids eat a certain way.
I think, look, bro, we all love to eat good food, whatever that means, right? I love sugar, but I know sugar is not good for me, right? And I think sugar is what really affects children.
Yeah, which is all
You
they
know?
want, basically, once they
Yeah.
get accustomed to
once
it.
they get accustomed to it.
I mean, they always say that the hardest thing of people to lose weight is cutting the sugar off, right? It's
Well, they say sugar's more addictive than cocaine.
I mean, I believe it.
It's the same refining process. It's pretty much the
Yeah,
same
it's
thing.
the same shit.
It's a different plant. You know what I mean?
But
More or
the
less made
dopamine
the same
levels
way.
are higher than cocaine.
Yeah, bro.
I mean, when you see a kid, if you give a kid a fucking Coke or a fucking soda, you see them bounce off the
They
walls
zoom.
quick. It's like,
We've become
we're cool.
flatlined to it though because we have such a high sugar and caffeine intake, right?
Yeah.
But to them,
Kids don't.
they could eat a strawberry and they're bouncing off the
Yeah.
walls. Yeah, so
I think
sugar
diet's,
intake.
diet's a huge role. I think exercising. I think if you exercise, your kids see that. I mean, I've been lifting weights since I was 14 years old. My kids know that me and their mom work out, and you know, it's kind of like they're into that. You know, they're into doing push-ups and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know what to say right now. It's just we're all going through a learning process. I mean, there's no handbook to being parents either, right?
No, there's no
And-
cookie cutter
No.
formula.
And so and then when you're going through your own stuff as a parent, it's hard. It's hard to be a parent when you're going through depression or whatever you're going through, or you know, financial stress, whatever the situation is. It's hard. But you know,
So
ultimately,
how do you overcome that and still be there for your child? Because you've had your rough days. Like, what do
yeah.
you do? You just bury yourself in a hole and your girl takes over?
No,
or-
I mean, She's definitely the stronger one. In you know, when I say stronger one, she's the one that holds the whole family down. You know, she holds us down because she sees when I'm going through stuff. She definitely steps it up. But you know, I'm not in that place right now, so I'm you know, I'm more aware of myself, and I'm definitely being more involved with my kids. You know, I've always been involved, but you know, I come in and out at times, right? I'm there, but I'm not there.
Yeah, you're
I'm physically there, but
but
my mental is, you know, in my head.
so if you're giving advice to the other people out there, what would you recommend they do to try and be more there mentally and physically?
Is that if they're going through something themselves?
Yeah.
I mean, one, obviously get help, because that'll help, whether it's a therapist or talking to someone. And
Because you've lived it. That's why I'm asking.
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say, man, because you know, I don't know. I really can't give you that answer right now. Maybe in a few weeks I can. And I feel sorry for saying that, but I just don't. I don't have the answer because I don't know.
But it's okay to say you don't have the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think you just gotta love your kids, dude. You know, that's even when I guess that's what I can only do. That maybe might be my answer right now. Is just you gotta love your kids. You gotta show them you love them. I don't know. I'm stuck with that.
Yeah, love is well, that's subjective also, because you know, everybody's got a different opinion on what that is.
Yeah, of course. You know, whether you're buying your kids stuff, that's love, or if you're there with them, that's love. You know, I'm always there with them at least. You know, I try to.
I don't think buying them things is love.
No, I don't
think
either.
that
But I'm
we've
saying
seen
that's
from-
what most people think is showering your kids with
But
gifts.
that's what
and
social
love.
media is pushed even more lately is gifts, gifts, gifts.
Well, social media is driven around consumerism. There's
Yeah.
nothing social about it. It's advertising, you know, and people don't take into account that that's the case. You know what I mean? But regardless of whether you're just following a socialite or something around, at the end of the day, that's just advertisement, right?
Yeah.
What is advertisement? Advertisement is driven for people to consume. You can't buy time, right?
Yeah, you can't buy happiness. Well,
Can't buy time. Is the
Yeah.
most time is the most valuable commodity on earth, right?
for sure.
Because you can't purchase it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's easy for people to want to not put the time in and buy things for their children and think they're providing a life for them. But at the end of the day, just showing up every time is all they're really looking for, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Just being there.
I'll tell you what, dude. I go to all my kids' functions. You know, I support them and everything. I take my kids to school every day. You know, take my kids to doctor's appointments. I do everything that I feel I can do. You know, with my schedule, obviously, and just I do the best I can.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I mean we are all busy. You know, I think that like you said, there's no.
Right or wrong answer. It's just what
I mean,
works.
there's some wrong answers for sure, regardless of whether people
Yeah.
know there is or not. You know what I mean? And I think that, you know, back to the moral of this topic is that whether we know it or not, a lot of our traumas and a lot of our lifestyle choices do definitely,
Affect
you know,
our children.
these little people are little sponges.
Yeah.
And less of what is said and more of what is watched is what they end up gravitating towards, right? So
Yeah, I
it's all
wouldn't even
about
say it's-
action.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's a said thing. It's like
Well, no, because we
physically.
tell them
Don't do
that,
that.
and then we do otherwise. And what do they really see? They pick up on what we're actually doing, right? They want to be
Always.
like us. So they're little sponges. Their brain's absorbing all this information, and it's what we're showing them physically, right? You can say this or buy a gift, but it doesn't replace picking you up from school every day, or
Oh, yeah.
or being there to actually be present. And then sometimes, like you said, we're there, but we're not there.
Yeah.
So being present is not just, okay, I'm physically present here, but I'm like this, or my mind is elsewhere, or I'm not really like paying attention to them or listening to them, right? Because they'll really tell us how they're feeling and what's going on. But sometimes, you know, even when we're physically present, we're not mentally present, and then that isn't really the time that they need, right? I think that time, all anybody wants from any other human being is to feel understood and felt, and actual attention and time. It doesn't take long.
I think really what kids really truly need, man, they really do need attention. That's why some kids, act out of line, right? Whatever that means. They don't listen to you. They talk back. I had that with one of my daughters, and I know she's like that more so because of her sister, and it's like there's no attention on her now because now it's on her, but now it's on the baby, and it just trickles down. Every kid gets affected by more siblings, right? You're number one, then you become number two, then number three, number four, number five. It just affects everyone, and we do our best to just be there for our kids, but they're still going to do what they want to do because they're also individuals and they have their own personalities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's
very true in itself.
And it's hard to deal with sometimes, but you got to be patient. I mean, that's number one, is just be patient. Obviously our topic was about, kids.
Patient, present.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add to that? Presence is love sometimes.
Yeah. Presence or presence?
Presence.
Like
not
gifts?
present.
No.
Presence.
Yeah.
Like you're physically there.
Your presence is the gift.
Yeah.
That's what a present is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Is being present. That's where that word stems from. That it's funny because the English language is like pretty self-explanatory, and we like to make it things that it's not. But if you look at the root word of all of this stuff, it really explains to you what the actual gems are, right? So your presence is the present.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The present moment is all we have, right?
Yeah, it's true.
We think about giving somebody a present, but just being present is the actual gift and the gift giving. You know what I mean? So many ways to go about that are missed or misconstrued.
I think that's the most important thing that anyone will ever remember of anyone is hey, yeah, maybe I didn't get what that person got, but I had my dad or mom 24/7 where they didn't. So it's definitely being involved.
Why don't you speak on your childhood experience a little bit?
My childhood experience was fucked.
But you always had everything you needed.
Always had a roof over my head, every toy I ever wanted.
But
that wasn't
the answer though. Why? Because both your parents are professionals?
Professionals, but my mom was a alcoholic. My dad was getting high from morning till night, and they were there, but they weren't there.
And they were successful. You had everything you needed.
Yeah. So they figured that's enough. And like, even as an adult, people are like, hey, what do I get you as a present for your birthday or Christmas? I'm like, honestly,
nothing.
A card that you've actually taken the time to go to the store and get, and write out something thoughtful besides happy birthday. That means more to me than any gift anyone could ever buy me.
Yeah, because it's thoughtful.
Yeah. And I bought in my years every toy I ever wanted, and now I've sold off most of it because I've realized
it doesn't make
that's a copy of my childhood.
Yeah, they don't serve you a purpose in life.
No, like I'm wearing a Target jacket, a Monster shirt, and some whatever joggers. Like,
I think as we get older, we realize that less is more.
Yeah. It takes time to learn that.
When you're a kid, you want everything, right? Or I want what he has, right? But as you become an adult, you're like,
I even notice that, like, sometimes my girl, she'll spend too much time on social media and she just feels like she's missing out. And I'm like, you have everything and then some.
I mean, she's like 0.2% of the fucking world outside of royalty and fucking extreme celebrityism. There's nothing that she doesn't have that anybody else has.
Yeah, or we've gone on every trip. Like,
yeah, but I'm talking like not just 1%. I'm talking like 0.25%.
Exactly. And it's, from hard work for me. But now that I'm raising a child, I realize, like, I just don't want to plan her in front of the TV and say, all right, let me play on my phone. Yeah. I like to sit there and observe her and leave my phone somewhere else and just let her, explore. And if she gets stuck on something, I'll help her through it. Mm-hmm. But I like being there to watch her go through the process of trying to figure out how to open this water bottle. Mm-hmm. I already know she's going to take the water bottle, flip it upside down, pour it all over my carpet. But I like seeing her trying to figure it out and the reaction of what happens.
That's a really good point. I wish I was, I'm more of a yeller, but yeah.
I don't yell. Like,
I know you don't.
That's
why I said it's a really good point.
After dealing with
learning as I watch.
He has one. You've gone down this road a couple times.
I'm just a different person.
Even with Tiny, like
I'm just more of a yeller, bro. It's just in my nature. You know why? It's my mom's been screaming at me since I was a little kid.
I'm the same way. I yell, bro. I yell, and
but
my kids like,
I
why
would
are
like
you yelling?
to be a lot more like you in the sense of letting them explore and figure it out. That's a really great quality to have.
Microdosing mushrooms helps on that topic.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's definitely like, because I grew up in the same crazy environment as you two, the abuse and all that
Gerald,
stuff.
will you bring me that bag of gummies that's over there? Will you see? Yes, sir. Will you bring that here? Let's talk about that a little bit because I have some product placement. Told the homie I would get him a good shot for the show.
So when you were a kid, right?
I almost ate this.
Were you?
Gracias. You should have ate a few.
Yeah,
of them.
you
That'd
should
have
eat
been
too.
Your mom and dad weren't around at all.
My dad was
Mycozilla.
always, my dad was always off doing something else.
0.3 gummies.
My mom was there,
Were
but
they still married or they separated
they separated a long time
Done?
ago, and then my dad passed.
last year, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about the mushroom gummies. This is a friend of mine from up north. They have a really good product, Mycozilla, microdoses,
How do you
0.3
find them?
pieces. At Mycozilla on Instagram, MYCOZILLA.
We'll put a little thing down below.
Yeah, for anybody that's not familiar, we're all big supporters of the psilocybin, microdosing psilocybin research that's been going on lately, and the mental stimulating benefits that come with it, I feel like.
Oh, it's definitely helped my anger management.
This is a solid ass brand. They make actual microdose gummies, no ill stomach effect. I like
taste
them,
good?
and they come from good people. Yeah, it's a great gummy, bro. It's really good.
You want to try a piece?
They do a good job.
Not right now, but I will.
Yeah, just even a bite was like they don't have the edge to them at all. They're
It's not like the
solid.
original ones we used to mess with.
They're like the original ones
Okay.
we used to mess with. So like
Where you smile?
I took a half and I didn't. I had no effect at all. So no ill effect, no
Did that-
high effect.
That pineapple one you gave me the other day?
They fuck you up.
That one fucked me up.
Yeah, they can be a little rough sometimes. Not these. This was a different brand, by the way. They're geared more for that anyway. You know what I mean? So, yeah, shouts to Mycozilla. We do believe that this is a
game changer.
game changer for the
Yeah.
mental health aspect. We'll get into that more with somebody that's more accredited to talk about it than us.
Yeah, we're
later.
not doctors. We're not giving medical advice. This is just our own 2 cents.
But I do want to ask you a few more things about your childhood because I don't think that we've got your point of view on a lot of this shit. And I
Yeah.
think that it's a good point of view to come from because me and Sean's childhood experience was obviously different.
Yeah.
And it's cool to hear that another experience, right?
Yeah.
And we've personally talked about some of the, not in detail, but like
Enough of it to get
some
the
of
picture.
yeah, obviously I'm pretty good at understanding where people are going with things, but just like some relevance to like back into the present thing or like the gift giving or the people thinking that when they come from you know, even growing up being around, you know, celebrities, real celebrities, bro. And then I was in the time when celebrities was like that shit really meant something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because celebrities, they pulled weight, bro. There was nothing that there wasn't a door that couldn't be opened and like that
Yeah.
type
Yeah,
of deal when
exactly.
you were A-list. You know what I mean? And I would find that a lot of their children, obviously their father or their mother or whoever the person working wasn't around as much and they had a lot of help in the house. They would be wild and they would be fun to hang out with, but they were a mess, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know, setting the fucking, you know, causing fires literally and
Figuratively.
metaphorically
Yeah.
to get attention, right?
Well, if you see all these actors, these big actors, a lot of their kids are fucked up.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. And
You
this
know?
is going back into like us thinking, here we are working so hard to provide this lifestyle for our child and figuring out that we actually did them an injustice by not just sitting there with them instead of.
But see, this is the thing, though. Is it for our children or is it for ourselves and our ego, right?
We think it's for our children.
I
I
think
used to
it's-
think it was, and then like over time, I've just realized, like looking back to my childhood, the shiny stuff's cool, but like I bought a 918 and that tickled my fancy for like 2 days, and I was like,
And then it sat there, right?
it's out there.
Until somebody else wanted you to pull it out and drive in it.
Yeah, and it
And
was
that's
just
what
like,
it is.
all right, I spent $1 million+ on a car, and there was no fulfillment.
Yeah.
Or the fulfillment was very short lived. And it's just the meaningful relationships, the meaningful friendships, and really figuring out who you want around you on a regular basis, who you want your child interacting with. You know, we all have kids, and like there's certain families you just don't hang out with because their kids are little brats, and you don't want that rubbing off on your children.
And, I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate when, I have friends that I've grown up with that have kids, and some of them I just I can't believe how their kids behave. It bothers me, you know, because it kind of makes you look at them a little bit different. Like, damn, your kid's acting like this, like, and you're cool with that? Like, that's just me.
I understand, bro.
It, like, and I treat all my friends' kids like they're my own.
Me too.
If they're doing something wrong, I'm gonna let them know, and I tell them, hey, if your kids are around me, I'm treating your kids like they're mine, and it's love. It's not me just being mean. It's straight love, and I've had to do that with some of my friends' kids at times. Like,
Well, do you feel like in that situation that these kids that you're around, you know, more often than not, do they treat you differently than they treat their parents?
I mean, yeah, always.
If
it's
you
like,
tell them
it's like
something,
that fear factor. They respect you, right?
They respect it, right?
It's just like a fear factor.
And
oh,
then
shit.
going forward, they know that
Yeah.
there's a
boundary there.
there's a boundary
Yeah.
with this person,
And don't fuck
and I
around.
fuck with it, right? Like
Yeah.
an animal will, right? Like my dog doesn't treat other people the same way he treats me.
Yeah.
I say something like this, and this fool's running for his kennel or whatever, but he respects to know that okay.
You know, when I was a kid, I'd have friends where I'd spend the night at, right? And my mom would pick me up the next day, and they'd be like, Sean's such a great kid. And my mom would look at me like, yeah, fucking right. You don't know this kid when he gets home. But, I mean, dude, like, of course I'm going to be respectful. It's their house.
But it was the environment you were in and the values you had. So
Yeah.
someone instilled those values in you.
I mean, yeah, my mom did in her own ways, but like, you know, I was a kid, but you know, I was around families all the time. So I'd be around like my friend Andrew, and he had his brothers and sisters, and they, you know, they had love, and you could feel it. Like his mom would make us cookies. They had a trampoline. They had a slip and slide. I had so much fun being with his family.
And it wasn't about the
Yeah.
slip and slide of the trampoline. It was about
It was just
the family camaraderie
yeah,
that
and
was
because
going
I
on.
didn't have that.
Yeah.
And when they'd be like, you know, they'd fight with their brother and sister. I'd be like, man, I would never fight with my brother and sister. Like, but that's me saying because I don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, probably if I did have brothers and sisters, I'd probably fight with them now, being an adult, understanding how life works. It's just, you don't get along all the time.
Like something that's still weird to me is family dinner. I never had fucking family dinner. There was
I would
food-
like to have more of them.
There was
I
like
didn't either.
there was like food on the table, of course, but you go downstairs when you're hungry, you eat, and
I appreciate those moments.
yeah.
I appreciate like people sitting down together
And I don't care if it's
saying
a
grace or whatever your feelings are on praying for food or like positive energy.
Yeah.
But like when I'm in Texas and I get to sit with somebody else's family and have that moment,
It's a different vibe, bro.
that
'Cause-
shit makes sense to me, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like
Because
my
they're in
uncles-
tune with each other's lives.
Yeah.
They actually speak
I
and
like-
everybody is heard and they
Yeah.
pray for other people. People in
It's-
their congregation or people that are in need or like just blessing whatever is present at that moment, that positive thought. It's a big deal. Like you said, family dinner. We don't know.
like some people take it for granted because that's what they're used to.
Yeah, we ate dinner and we would have Thanksgiving and things, but we didn't sit down with each other on a regular basis.
No,
we were all
I
off in our
never
own
sat
world.
down with anyone, bro. Like, if I was with my dad, we'd be with his friends. We'd sit down and have dinner, whether it's Thanksgiving, Easter, you know, Christmas. And then my mom always worked, so I never had those dinners. But I never really sat down with my parents and were like, and ate with them and was like, how was your day, Sean? You know what I mean? Which I do that with my kids. Although I'm always gone a lot working, and you know the kids need to eat before I get home, stuff like that. But I always make sure I ask them how their day was. You know what I mean? And I think that's really important. Is there's that disconnection? Like you're disconnected with your parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're not going to be disconnected with your daughter because you know.
I know what.
You know, like no,
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like that. And the same thing for you. It's like you're very involved with your children.
I am.
You know what I mean? I love it. I mean, look, all my friends are involved with all their kids as well. But I see the way they act in my house sometimes, and I'm like, the fuck, do something about this.
Yeah.
But
And that's not, I don't spank my kids. I've never hit any of my kids.
I mean, I've spanked my kids. I try it. Like I don't want to. Like
No, I get it.
I like.
I'm not saying I'm
No,
against
of course
it.
not. But you, hey,
But
listen,
I don't
if you
have
gotta
to.
check your kids once in a while. That's just what it is, bro. I'm sorry. I know we live in a time where everyone's sensitive, and I get that. But you still gotta let these guys know, like, no, you know, because talking only does so much. Taking away things only does so much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I definitely, I'm the softer one in the household when it comes to my kids, because I can't just hit you just to hit you. Like, it's not in me.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's something that really ticks me off. But I just try to talk to them. You know, especially my son, because he's the man of the house. Like I tell him,
Sorry.
and I'm just like, yo, bro, like you don't need to act like that. And
Yeah.
I want him to think about what he just did. I want him to understand what he just did.
Yeah.
So
And he's
we can
11?
talk about it and then move on from it. You know what I mean?
How old is he?
He's 11. I think the biggest factor is communication. That's it.
I mean, that's the biggest human factor.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, look, even if your parents are separated, but at least if maybe your mom was more engaging with you or your dad was more engaging with you, I don't know, maybe you'd feel different or not.
Three
Yeah.
wise men.
I'm like,
Three
Yeah.
semi-wise men. That would be a good.
I don't know.
For
I
this
just felt
mix.
like I'm a product of my environment, and I've chosen to take a different path. A lot of people like to go left. I went way right. Like I don't drink. I don't party.
You're one of the most sane people I know. I tell my wife that quite a bit, actually. That like, you're one of the most
Appreciate that.
like solid, mentally, temperament-wise, like, you know what I mean, of anybody that I know. She
Yeah, I
also
agree.
says that you're like one of the only people in the world that I'm nice to, which maybe that's why.
Fuck, that's a blessing, bro.
We lived together for a minute.
Yeah, I get it, but that doesn't mean anything,
Yeah.
obviously. You know what I mean? That's her hearing me on the phone to
Yeah.
everybody that I speak to, obviously.
I think also certain people bring out certain things in you, right?
I respect
That's
that
right.
you're. It's not monotone because you obviously, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But you handle everything in a
Same temperament,
flatline
yeah.
manner, and that's very admirable to somebody that like myself that can be a.
Look,
You know what I
don't-
mean?
Don't get me wrong. I was that way for a while. Like I broke shit. I ripped doors off the wall, put my hand through fucking walls, and it's been a lot of years of therapy. And I feel like the first mushroom ceremony I did with the shaman like really helped unlock a lot of things.
You're welcome.
Yep. And really push through that. Like it's still on the list. I always want to do an ayahuasca ceremony, but I just hate puking, so that's just my only
It's a
fear.
lot. It's a lot.
And so, like, I'll mess with the psilocybin for now, and then eventually I'll build up the confidence of ayahuasca. But that,
I've never done it. It's too much for me, and even being as in the counterculture world as I am, it's a lot, bro.
yeah, and I don't know if I
a lot
want
to
to hash.
unravel.
I don't know if I want to hash out some shit from childhood. I'm just being honest.
I think we all need to.
We all need to. I'm not.
And I would
denying.
like to, because I know that
But
you
maybe
know
you are.
I have relationships.
Maybe we
that-
are.
I mean, we are right now
We
as we
are.
speak, as we're
We
learning
are
from each
hashing
other in
those things
different
out because we're not
experiences.
We're not. Yeah, and we're also not. We're not doing the same thing, right? We've changed that cycle for our children. We're changing
We're changing
their
it,
path.
hopefully.
You know.
I hope so. Like, I'll try my damnedest to make sure, and make sure she starts going to classes early. Like, you know, just building those certain skills.
Yeah,
It was
I
kinda-
could be better at it.
I mean, I'm just being realistic. I think my kids are still gonna have some type of issues towards me when they're older, and I know one of them is because I work a lot. You know what I mean? And we're not able to do things together, and that's okay. I understand.
Yeah,
that.
but you're still there for a majority of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's part
You
of
go home
being-
every
it's-
night?
Yeah,
I mean,
we look at it like that, but in their mind, they might be like,
I get it.
But
I
I'm
get
like,
it.
hey, man, whatever, dude. I had to work. I had to take care of our family. You know?
I mean, you're more present for as busy as you are. You're more present than a lot of people are.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm more present than 90% of the parents out there.
Yeah, I don't have a social life really.
Nah.
I don't really do things. I don't have like hobbies.
My
and
social
shit.
life is with you guys.
Well, and it's
Yeah.
work based, right?
Yeah, it's work-based.
I only fuck with people
You
that
know?
I work with more or less.
Yeah. I mean, I go to the
My
gym.
social life is still based around work because of the business, and
Yeah.
I go to these events or these things, and that's technically my social life.
Or me coming over so you can eat pie.
I mean, yeah, my life stopped at a halt because I used to hang out with my friends a lot. But you also, as you get older, your wants are different. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I understand.
I don't care to go out anymore. Like, I'm good. Now, if you want to go eat a good meal, I'm down for that.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I get
I'm
it.
always down for a good steak. And like, we went to this play place in Woodland Hills the other night, a 3-story like kids climbing thing with
Yeah.
all sorts of cool shit. Like, I heard a couple parents screaming, and I'm like, I'm not gonna get involved, but I'm gonna sit here and watch. And it's all about some lady was literally on her phone, and her kid was pushing his boundaries and went down a slide while another kid was halfway and leveled
the kid.
half the size. And it's the parents went off like, dude, get off your fucking phone and be present. Just because you're sitting there, be present. And it was just really interesting to see the mother's reaction. Fuck you guys. Like,
Well, no, because we don't.
zero remorse for
This
what
is
had happened.
this is the theme in humanity right now. Is that we used to get called out for being out of line. And, if your kid was out of line and somebody reprimanded them, you talked to your kid about it, right?
Yeah.
You didn't disrespect the other people or fight with them.
No.
You said, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Because you're making me look bad, right? Because we had more respect for humans.
Yeah.
What we have now is, and you see on the road, is that everybody can't take responsibility for being wrong, right?
Do you ever see, like, when you take chance certain places to play, like, you have to be on top of them just because other kids are just mean and throw shit? Or not as much?
People have a way of acting in line around me that are, like,
I'm just saying, like,
different.
a random, we go to the
Yeah.
playhouse.
Not as much. I haven't had that experience as much. I'm pretty on them, though. Like, I follow them around. I don't sit anywhere while my kids are playing that aren't, like, I'm, like,
Within
watching
eyesight.
them. Yeah. And, I mean, there's been times, but, like, I'm very, like, on
Yeah.
point with, like, putting... If I feel like something is out of whack or is going to be wrong, I just leave, bro.
I got you.
Time to roll it up and go because I'm not trying to argue with anybody. But people don't act towards me in person the way that they act towards my wife in person type of shit either. You know what I mean?
Michelle gets
It's not
this-
that I'm like some physical stature that is like big or huge, but I have a different... When
Yeah.
I approach any situation in life, pretty much, people respond to me differently than they respond to Jen.
Yeah, and Michelle's always like, I don't get why people respond to you the way they do. I'm like, because I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
There's an art to
There's
it.
a respect thing. There's also like, they don't react to me the same way. People don't like yell on me or fucking treat me with disrespect in public very often. I just don't give off that's going to end well vibes, I guess. I don't know. How do you feel about it? I'm sure you're a pretty big guy. I don't think too many people are yelling on you or treating you
No.
out of pocket.
I never have those issues, bro.
But you're very you're pretty
Yeah, I'm like a
respectful.
gentle giant. Like, it takes a lot for me to really
But
get
the average
fucking
person's not
crazy.
going to poke a guy your size.
No, and there's really no reason to. You know what I mean? Like, when I drive people, like, I don't honk at people, bro.
I don't like the horn either.
I'm good.
I don't
Like,
use the horn.
I've been honking more lately because when I take my kids to school, like, I gotta get them to school, and these fuckers just sit on. I can see they're sitting
They're
on their phone.
I do it all the time.
And the
so
light's
I'm guilty
green, and
of
I'm
it.
like, all right, bro. Okay, 5 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna go 10 seconds.
I'm guilty
Or fuck
of
it, I'm
this.
honking. But like, I
Not
don't
while I'm
honk
Alright,
at
give
driving,
it a
but
little
if
love
I'm at a
time.
red
Yeah.
light and it happens to me every day, and you know what? I don't bitch at the people when they honk at me because
No.
I know it's my bad, right?
Yeah.
And I just try to give them the benefit of the doubt. And did they need to honk? No, I was
No.
gonna go anyway, but I'm not getting in a gunfight over
Dude,
a
check
fucking
this out.
honking issue
I
or
was
something in
at-
LA, you know?
I was at a gas station, pulling into the gas station, but I couldn't make the turn, so I had to back up. I have my cameras. I see the dude in his car, and he's like honking, and I put the window down slowly, and he's like, what the fuck? And I looked at him, I was like, relax, bro. I see what's going on. He smiled at me, gave me the peace sign, and drove off. And I was like, I looked at him like, relax, dude.
But had you have
But if
been
I
on
would
some
have
Mad
if I
Dog
would have got out
shit,
the car and fucking punched his fucking window,
or just even if you would have
either
looked
A, I
at
would
him
have
in a
got
certain
shot.
sense,
Yeah, A, I would have got shot, or I would have scared the fuck out of him, hurt myself. And again, I just relax.
I don't think that people in general, like, I don't think they want to be as angry as they are. I don't
think
think they
people
want to
aren't-
be as tough as they are.
They're definitely not as tough as they act like they are. The thing
No,
is,
but it's
people are on
the thing in
edge.
LA. People are super on edge,
Yeah.
and people feel like they have to represent themselves in a certain light. And I think it takes somebody like yourself to smile in a situation and like kind of stand down things because
Yeah.
we're in a really bad snowball right now.
I
It's
think-
getting worse and worse every day,
think the
and that we
key-
can visually see online from
It
all these
honestly
videos.
does work. Is like, you could be upset, but if I just smile and I start laughing, eventually you're gonna do it.
It's
Yeah.
So I think
contagious.
you just gotta kill people with kindness because
Yeah.
look, like I tell my kids, no matter how someone acts, you don't need to change who you are because of them.
You're in control of it.
That's all it comes down to. Now, granted, I don't always practice what I preach at times
No.
because I'm a human being, right? But that's the truth. You come at me sideways, I'll have to think about it. Either A, I engage, or B, I just stay quiet. We've had our situations. I've stayed quiet, and there's times where I haven't stayed quiet.
Yeah.
But we respect each other, we love each other, and it's all good, right? That's not happening anymore.
No.
That you could see it. I mean, bro, there's so many more road rage issues. It's crazy what I'm seeing now.
I never use my horn unless you're sleeping at a light.
I try not to.
Dude, my dad's been in so many altercations
bro.
as a kid. You
I
know
know,
how uncomfortable it's been?
It's an Italian
My
thing, I
dad's
think.
gone to jail, bro, for slapping a guy. And it wasn't even my dad's fault. The guy's kid ran in front of my dad's car. My dad stopped. He pulled in, parked. He tells the guy, you got to watch your kid. The guy goes, go fuck yourself. My dad, oh, yeah, okay. You got on my dad's face. My dad went, bam. But granted, this is Brentwood.
Yeah.
Now, if this was like Pacoima,
You would have been fine.
they would have fucking fought and
It
would have kept it pushing.
Brentwood,
but
he pressed charges.
yeah, he did. My dad had to go to jail.
For something that he was in the right for, actually.
Yeah, but also my dad is hot-headed.
My
At
dad's
7 years
super
old,
hot-headed,
He
bro.
still honks at people. He
Yeah.
still wants to get
My
out of the
dad
car.
will
And
still
I'm like,
fight
yo,
you
bro,
in
someone's
his
gonna
70s.
shoot you.
And he don't care. He's been hit with a crowbar. He's got a big-ass scar on his face from that. This fool's never backed down from a fight in his life. He was a boxer. He was good with his hands,
Bro,
whatever.
I try to avoid
but it's
as
not
much
worth
as I
it.
can.
I remember going to see him. This is also so. My mom's hot-headed as well. Fist fought with everybody she's ever been with, and beats up all her drinking buddies and shit too. But I went to go visit my dad in Dallas. We went to the grocery store. Right? I'm probably I was a teenager, I think. But we go to the grocery store. The kid behind the counter at the deli was like a younger kid, and he took this decent looking chick before my dad on the number thing, and my dad said something to him, and my dad's not a super big guy, but homeboy, fuck you, from behind the deli counter, thought he was a young kid and whatever, and my dad beat that dude's ass in the middle of Tom Thumb with this kid present over him taking somebody, you see the type of he was with it. He was ready to go to jail for a fist fight in Tom Thumb because this dude took somebody in front of us, which it wasn't necessary, obviously.
Yeah.
But these people that come before us come from a different time period where you didn't do certain things or act certain ways because there's
consequences.
There was consequences to it.
I mean, and honestly, it should still be like that, bro. There's boundaries, and people don't follow boundaries anymore, and that's where the world is going. Everyone's sensitive, bro, to everything, and for me, I understand it, but hey, man, that's how you feel. That's how you feel.
I try to let it go, but I am honest.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? I don't sugarcoat shit.
No, you can't, because you're doing me a disservice if you're my friend and you're not telling me the truth.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be diplomatic, but obviously I know that I'm capable of things that most people aren't capable of mentally, let alone physically. But mentally, I'm capable of dealing with certain things that other people wouldn't be able to handle. Obviously, it's a fine line. I try not to let myself. As a man, we have to find balance between being an animal and being a gentleman. I feel like. Yeah. I definitely agree with all of this. A non-dangerous man is not a good thing, right? I think that somebody that's extremely dangerous but able to control it is very valuable, right?
I mean, you always saying you always got to watch for the quiet ones. Yeah. Right. I think when you just move in a different way, you just avoid shit, bro. You just avoid things. I just think that.
Yeah, I'm always looking for my exit in any situation.
Yeah, like Ed said, walk away.
Run, walk. Best form of self-defense is running, right?
9 times out of 10, even 99% of the time,
you gotta go with your gut feeling, bro. If you feel like you're in a situation where shit's about to go down, trust that.
I mean, a lot of people don't even know. They're not aware of their surroundings in those senses, I think, and I think it's a comes from experience and obviously your background, but seeing things that don't even have to do with you, because you could be a bystander and get shot, bro.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
We see that all the time.
Not understanding the levity of any type of situation or sticking yourself into positions that you shouldn't be in, right? People like to look, people like to watch, people like to film.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around a lot of shit, going out when I was younger, and I knew when it was time to leave. You know.
Look, as an adult, I haven't had to pull out my gun ever. Like, I'm not engaging unless I truly, truly have to.
Yeah.
Never had to
But
pull
that's
out a
not-
knife. Like,
I mean, what's the first thing they teach you in gun class?
walk away.
No, what's the first thing they teach you? Never aim at anything you don't plan on killing, right?
Yeah.
That's what they teach you when you control a firearm. You never point a gun at anything you don't plan on killing.
Or destroying.
Huh?
Killing or destroying.
For whatever nature that is. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the levity of that situation is. Most people do it because they think it makes them.
Nah. If it
You know what
comes
I
to
mean?
that, you better be ready to
It's
finish.
a tool, right?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't even be.
Because I'm not. I wrestled. I can throw hands if I have to, but I'd rather not.
It's different. You're obviously trained to
You're
not
skilled.
use that.
Yeah. The one thing I will give my parents is they put me through 10 years of karate, which taught me discipline that they didn't teach me.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I think that martial arts is good. My wife is a black belt as well, so
Yeah, I got a black belt in
She
Taekwondo.
really?
yeah, bro.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Better be careful. Kick you in your head.
Just the discipline it takes to actually follow through with that from a young age to actually
yeah.
achieve that
Oh, yeah.
is a lot. You know what I mean? And it is very, you don't get out of line with sensei, bro.
No.
You know?
We're about to hit an hour, so we got to wind it.
Yeah. Well, I think that we had some good points here. I think that I learned something.
Yeah.
I learned something.
I wasn't, today was a little off for me, just, being open with you guys, So sorry if I didn't
No.
come correct.
No, I think it was unplanned and a little bit
But,
a little bit
of a
from
late. We had a guest that backed out last minute. We appreciate you being here.
I mean, again, we're talking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This
That's
makes
all we
us
can
learn
do.
about ourselves, about each other, and about the world in
Yeah.
some sense, which is good.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Everybody make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Got a lot more good content coming soon.
Yes.
Gerald.